3 secrets to getting over 356 Enduro riders race fit. Shh, don't tell anyone. First thing is rider durability. How do you get a rider more durable, able to tolerate more, tougher out on the track? And the simple way to be able to do that is get them stronger. I'm yet to meet a rider that's too strong that they can't gain any more strength. The stronger we can get our riders, the lighter we can get the bike to feel for them. If we can get the bike to feel lighter for them, they use a lot less energy when they ride. So if we look at one of our riders, Shane, recently, who lost about 18 kilos, his strength is 2, 3, 4 times where it was when we first started 4 months ago. Imagine what it feels like to be able to go and ride a bike and be 3 or 4 times stronger and also be 18 kilos lighter at the same time. The bike's going to feel like fresh air. So the first thing that we focus on with our riders is making sure that they've got a great base level of strength using the right exercises. We use exercises like bent over rows, back squats, deadlifts, overhead presses, movements we can use in the gym where we can steadily load up the weight in a safe environment without getting them big and bulky, making sure that we're using the right exercises. That's the first thing we focus on. The second thing that we focus on is ride for day stamina. How do you focus on ride for day stamina? How do you get a rider that can do multiple day events? Go and do an Australian 4-day event or go out to Romaniacs and be able to ride for days and days and days and have consistent energy. Nutrition, right? It doesn't matter how fit or how strong we get our guys. They've got to have fuel in the fuel tank. Even if you've got an Olympic level of fitness, you still need fuel in the fuel tank to be able to operate. It's like your bike. You don't run your bike on no fuel. You can't run your body on no fuel. So the first thing that we do here with the nutrition side is we educate our riders on how to fuel themselves. Number one, making sure that they're at the appropriate body weight and helping them with that throughout the week. But more importantly, when they get out on the bike, how are they fueling themselves before a ride and what are they doing during the ride? One of the things that we focus on to get them to ride for days is focusing on their carb strategy and making sure that they're using our ride for days nutrition system, which involves getting 50 grams or so of carbs in for every hour of riding. Okay, whether that's through using Powerades or using energy drinks or using carb drinks or carb gels or whatever the strategy is, we're making sure that we have our guys fueled for a full race all the way through. They keep topping up the tank and they know how to use that system. It's accessible. It's not using a whole heap of fancy supplements or foods that are hard to get or strategies that are just way too complex to be able to actually put into practice. It's stuff that's simple, that's easy to follow, that they can actually get done so they can get the results. Third thing is rider capacity. How do you build up a rider's capacity to be able to ride longer? Part of that is through the type of cardio training that we're doing. So the reason that the cardio is important is because oxygen needs to get to the muscles for them to work, and we also need to get it to the brain to work as well. As soon as we stop getting oxygen to the brain, we start not thinking clearly, we lose concentration, we don't focus as well on the track, we make more mistakes, we crash more, and it compounds on itself. The more mistakes you make, the harder it is to ride, the more energy you use, the more energy you use, the more mistakes you make, and you get stuck in this vicious cycle. So the third thing that we focus on is making sure they're doing the right type of cardio. This comes down to using mostly interval training with our enduro guys. The body has two systems, aerobic system and aerobic system. Don't need to know the details of it. What you do need to know is the aerobic system is built by doing long distance training, okay, at a steady consistency. Think about long distance cycling, long distance rowing, long distance swimming. The other system is anaerobic. What that means is we want to get our body really good at operating very hard for very short periods of time, followed by a bit of rest, and then being able to go hard again. Exactly like a hard enduro race. When you're out there racing, it might be a 3-hour race, but you're not racing at a consistent speed for 3 hours. You might go through a really snotty hill climb, which requires a lot of effort. Then you get a bit of single trail, which is a bit of a rest. Then you have another few logs that you're getting over, a rock garden that's hard again. It's always fluctuating backwards and forwards. So we want to train both of those. The biggest learning that we have with our riders is we don't want to build the aerobic system, the long distance system, with our training during the week, because they're already training that system when they go and ride every weekend, okay? If they're riding for 2, 3, 4 hours, they're already building that aerobic system by just being on the bike. We don't need to be doing a heap more of it during the week. But what we do need to be working on is working on the anaerobic energy system, and that's where our interval training comes in. So we get our guys doing a lot of like rowing work or exercise bike work, which is low impact on their body, doesn't flare up old injuries, doesn't cause new injuries in the future like running does, and we can really get the anaerobic system working. So an example of that might be 30 seconds on flat out, 30 seconds off on the rowing machine. Might start off with 10 rounds. What's that? 10 minutes, right? Then we can slowly progress that up to 12 rounds or to 15 rounds and be somewhere around the 15 to 20 minute range. But overall, what we're focusing on is making sure our guys are doing the right stuff. It's making sure they have a clear plan of the exact exercises, sets and reps they need to do to get strong. without overwhelming them. It's making sure, second, that they're doing the right nutrition stuff out on the weekend and they're fueling themselves properly, not putting a whole heap of shit in and just hoping something's going to work. And then third, cardio. It's just making sure they're doing the right types of cardio. So we can get great results with our riders by getting them to do 3 45-minute training sessions a week, okay, which is a lot less training than what they think that they need to do, only because we're focusing on the right stuff. And obviously, when you've worked with 356 plus riders, even if you didn't want to learn anything, you couldn't help yourself but learning something simply by just working with that many riders. So that helps our guys to be able to make sure they're doing the right stuff, they're not wasting time, and that's how we get the results out on the bike on the weekend. As always, if you'd like some help with this stuff and you'd like to join our team and you want everything mapped out on a silver platter, apply for the Faster Laps program below.